playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
I got to see what you do. You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots.
Hey, Shalom. All praise and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. The abundance to the elder apostles, the great millstone, rule well, on of times knowledge. On salutations to you fellow laborers, on the work week in and week out. Shalom to you, and shalom to the few that believe as well. Jacob and Esau was never meant to get along. And I just entitled this video, the enmity, all right? The enmity, which goes into the enmity the Lord put between the seed of Adam and Eve. Now, when you look at today, the main two nations that are arch enemies is the nation of Israel, which are the so-called Negroes, Latino Native Americans. And then you have the nation of Esau, Edom, the small hats on down to the lowest level so-called white person, or Edomite, is their true nationality. Okay, they call themselves white, Caucasian, European, what have you. And that clip right there was a prime example, right? You see that they work together doing a sports show. They're a sports analyst, Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. But one thing it showed was that no matter what Jake do, no matter how much they act like or pretend like they're buddies and brothers, the Most High Heavenly Father makes sure that enmity is shown between Jacob and Esau. So let's get the precept. This is Genesis 3 and 15. It says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." So the enmity, if you don't know what enmity is, right? When you go to, I'm going to go to the blue letter. All right, let's go to the blue letter. To the word enmity. Okay, slack you. So enmity. All right. So Ayabah says enmity, hatred. All right, hatred. Let's go to Google, see what else we can find. Right, it says hostility, animosity, antagonism, friction, antipathy, animus, opposition, dissension, rivalry, feud, conflict, discord, contention, acrimony, bitterness, rancor, resentment, aversion, dislike, ill feeling, bad feeling, ill will, bad blood, hatred, hate, loathing. Just some of the words, I ain't gonna read all of them. It's probably more. Look, it goes down, right? But it says the opposite of friendship and goodwill, right? So these guys pretend to be friends, right? And the whole world watched them feud. Now, they're supposed to be friends. They claim to have a friendship, but why take personal shots at each other? Well, it goes back to the enmity, the hatred. Okay. So after the garden situation, right? Because the situation took place after the serpent beguiled Eve, right? Which was so-called black woman, and the serpent being the same spirit that was within Cain, and later on Esau, all right? Because Cain was known as the wicked one, right? He was, excuse me, he was known as the wicked one. Okay, let's get that real quick. Wicked one. Excuse me. Let's get that real quick. 1 John 3 and 12. It says, what? Let's start up a bit, all right? 1 John 3 and 10. It says, in this, the children of the Heavenly Father are manifest, and the children of the devil. yeah. Whosoever does not righteousness is not of the Heavenly Father. Well, that automatically eliminates you, Esau. Neither he that loveth not his brother. It says, and you have that among Jake too, that don't love one another, right? I'm using Esau and Jacob because Esau and Jacob was brothers. Remember, right? They came out of the loins of Isaac, and Isaac's wife Rebecca bare them, right, and pushed them through her womb. So they were actual brothers, but yet it was hatred between them, because that goes back again to what I read in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. So it says, for this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Verse 12, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. See, it says, and wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. See? So, one is the same thing, all right? Which I read that what happened in the beginning, right? So this is not the same thing that happened with Esau and Jacob. Of course, it's the same thing. Jacob's works were righteous, and Esau's works were wicked. How you know that is because when the blessing was given unto Jacob, right? What happened? Let's go to the account. We'll go back to Genesis, right? 27 and about 39, all right? Yeah, Genesis 27 and 39. But actually, let's start up a bit. Genesis 27 and 38, it says Esau, now this is Esau coming in after Jacob had supplanted Isaac, all right, in his old age. He was blind. He was fading out, kind of dying, if you will. He was in his old age. He got over on Isaac to get that blessing, which the Lord put on the spirit of Rebekah to tell Jacob to go get that blessing from Isaac. Okay? The Lord put that spirit on Rebekah to tell Jacob to go get that blessing. And then you go back to the 25th chapter. Esau had sold his birthright anyway. So, so it says, Isaac naturally, being the father, wanted to give the blessing to the eldest son, Esau, but it was not so, because the Lord had already set up for Jacob to get that blessing. That's why, again, the Lord put on the spirit of Rebekah to tell Jacob, go get that blessing from your father. And he did it. All right, it says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, O my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And you better believe Esau enjoyed that fatness. Start with the small hats. Why you think they have so much riches, man? So much wealth. Why you think they own everything? I'm talking about Amalek, all right, the Amalekites, the chief tribe of Esau, Edom. Why you think they have everything? Why you think they own the central banks? Why do you think they own the corporations, the top corporations of America, so-called America? Who behind the wars that's going on in the Middle East, right? Where resources are getting stolen left and right. Verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob. Well, wait a minute. Well, one of the definitions of enmity, hatred, right? It says hatred, right? Where did it go? Here we go. It said hatred. See? Intense dislike or ill will. Racial hatred. Well, Esau is the father of the Edomites. Jacob is the father of the Israelites, two different races. The Lord told her that two different nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. This is what the Lord told Rebekah. See? Because you want to know why the children were struggling or fighting within her, and the Lord had blessed her to have children, to conceive. You know what? Isaac put his seed in her, and the children was growing, developing, and they was fighting in her womb. Within her stomach, they were fighting. So she inquired of the Lord why they were struggling or fighting within her, why they were yet not born yet. All right. And when they were born, our forefather Jacob was holding on the heel of Esau. And we don't have to go into who was winning. We know who was winning. Let me keep it going if I get carried away. So it says, verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Now, when you want to slay somebody, right? Let's go to that real quick. When you want to slay someone, you do it out of love? The answer is no, you do it out of hate. All right. Let's go to the word slay. You don't want to slay somebody out of it says harag, to kill, slay, murder, destroy, murderer, slayer out of hand. So Esau wanted to murder our forefather Jacob, man. Because of what that blessing, man. So again, let's go back to what was that, 1 John 3? What did it say about Cain? 1 John 3, let's see what it says again. 1 John 3 and 12. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew, right? What does it mean to slew? Let's look that up on the blue letter. Let's go see if the blue letter got that correct. Let's see. 1 John 3 and 12. Slew, slay, murder, right? Murderer. Cain murdered Abel, right? We all know the story. Let's go to the word slew. Comes from the Greek, all right? Let's see it.
Strong's G 4969. Sfadzo. Sfadzo.
To slay. So it means the same thing. Slay, murderer, right? He wanted to murder, all right, Jacob. Just like he murdered Cain, it's like a Cain murdered Abel. All right, to slay, slaughter, butcher, to put to death by violence. All right, so we see, all right. This is how much enmity is between Jacob and Esau. All right. The righteous seed versus the wicked seed. You see? Who were the first ones to come against Israel? Right? Let's get that. Who was the first one to come against us? It tells you in the scriptures, right? What's this? Wrong chapter. Slack it. Wrong chapter. Let's see. Right. Yeah, here we go. Con. Here we go. So this is coming out of old Egypt, right? Mizraim, right? The Lord delivered us from under the hand of the old Egyptians. It says Exodus 17. I'm gonna go right to the point. Exodus 17 and verse 8. It says, Then came Amalek and fought with Israel and Rephidim. Right? So who the first one to fight against Israel? Amalek. Well, Amalek goes back to Esau, Edom. He's the grandson of Esau, Edom. Let's get that real quick. Touch on that real quick. Genesis 36 and I believe it's 10. Well, 12. So Genesis 36 and 12, it says that Timnah was the concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son. Well, your lineage is determined by your what? Your fathers, which is what? A man or male. So the males determine the bloodline, the lineage. Okay? It says, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. So Amalek is of the direct lineage of Esau, Edom. So again, who came out to fight against us first? The Edomites. Starting with who? The head tribe, Amalek. The same ones that run the Edomites today. When you look at, again, you look at all the central banks. Shalakia. Open my drink. You look at all the central banks. You look at all the ownership to all these big corporations. It goes back to who? The Amalekites, the small hats. And they're in denial right now. All right, they're in denial, but we know, right? So let's go from there. Show you more hatred that Esau had for you Israelites out there. Don't believe Esau hates you. Oh, Esau hates your guts. Trust me. Slack you. Don't trust me. Trust what the scriptures say. Slack you. I misspoke. The scriptures clearly tell you that Esau hates Jacob, man. This is another one right here. Matter of fact, not this one. I'll come back to that one. I want to get this one in Ezekiel first. I brought this out earlier at the camp. I visited the Chicago Achium. Had a good time with those brothers at the camp. Ezekiel 35, and this is Ezekiel 35, and starting at 2. Well, start at 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus said the Lord power, Yahweh Shah, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. See? And when you jump down, it gives a reason. All right, well, I'm going to scroll down. Verse 5. Because thou, now, well, let me stop right there, though. Who were the people of Mount Seir? The Anakims was pushed out by who? The Edomites. So who possessed that land? Ultimately. All right? The most notable people, you don't talk about the Anakims when you talk about Mount Seir. You talk about the Edomites. So the Edomites, they dwelt at Mount Seir. All right? So it's talking about set thy face against who? The government of the Edomites, which start with the Amalekites, which are the small hats. It says, verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Yeah, perpetual hatred, right? It has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. See? Esau had a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel, which was who? Israel was who? Esau's brother. Jacob's name changed to Israel. Remember? He's a progenitor of us Israelites. It says, verse 6, therefore as I live, saith the Lord power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. See? And then you go to the book of Obadiah. This is all concerning Edom, right? Let's go to Obadiah. Obadiah verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, concerning Edom. All right? Concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. All right, so this is concerning Edom, okay? Esau, Edom. Remember, Genesis 36 and 8, Esau is Edom. So when you go down to verse 10, all right, remember concerning, well, let's prove that Esau is Edom. Get that. Genesis 36. So we can understand who he's talking about. Can't say I made it up, wacky-tacky Christians. Genesis 36 and 8, it says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. See? Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. See? And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. That's why I made I mentioned that Mount Seir pertains unto the Edomites. See? So, let's go back to Obadiah, verse 10. And it reads, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Well, who was Edom's brother? Jacob. Whose name changed to what? Israel. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. But why would Esau commit such violence against Jacob? Remember, he hated Jacob. Okay? Remember, Cain hated Abel because of Abel came with a righteous sacrifice. And Cain, silly ass, came with some foolish sacrifice, and the Lord rejected him. So the fact that he was rejected, all right, he was rejected, and he was weeping and bitching about being rejected. In anger, out of hate, grew in Cain's mind, and he slew Abel. Same thing happened when he came back as Esau, found out that Jacob got that blessing. And what anger within Esau boiled over, and he hated Jacob so much so that he said that he's gonna slay Jacob. He's gonna pursue him and slay him, or pursue and murder Jacob, right? So this is a backdrop or proper context to why our nations been beefing with each other. It goes back to that enmity, right? That enmity, all right, which the Lord put that there. All right. We represent good, all right, through the right hand side, all right, under Yahweh Shai, right? And they represents the evil, which they get all right, strength or power through the spiritual demon Satan, all right, which is the son of the Most High, but he do the bend on the left hand side. All right, so that's what's up right there between the two, Jacob and Esau. See? So the violence that he's done against us, all right, is always made known. Okay, that's what's going on right now. They're trying to shift blame from this and that, saying it ain't us, but you were the ones, man. Start with Amalek. All right, Amalek, you were the ones, man, that initiated, all right, and set up all the terrorism that happened unto us Israelites. And this is a fact. I did a video last week about who started the Ku Klux Klan. They made me put age restriction on the video. I thought when I got a notification, I thought they had flagged it, but they just told me I had to put an age restriction on the video because it's actual events in history that took place. So that was the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua allowing that to go up because the Most High is in control. Remember that. All right, so the violence against his brother Jacob, which represents us, all right, for the violence against us, shame is going to cover Esau. That's why the Edomites are trying to erase slavery out of the school textbooks. They're trying to erase slavery out of American history. All right, they want to do away with anything that had to do with slavery because it was that bad. They don't want to talk about it because it's so shameful of what they've done to us, man. All right, so-called America give everyone money for this and that, but you notice the sons of Jacob, all right, the children of Israel, we don't get shit from the American government, but a slap in the face, man. We don't get no reparations. We don't get none of that stuff. You Jakes out there, you think Esau's going to give you reparations? Well, I'm reading over in this lesson that he hates you. I'm reading about the perpetual hatred that he has for us. See, everybody want to talk about love, spread love, and how can the fuck you sow so much hate, and all of a sudden now you want to love? See what it says in Romans 13. It says, "Love working no ill unto his neighbor." Well, Mount Seir, all right, the land of Edom, Mount Seir, is south of the land of Judah, right? And did not the Edomites work ill towards, Israel? All right. So, hey, there's your answer. Okay. Now let's go from there. All right, let's get that Amos now. It says Amos 1 and 11. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever." So again, right? That show you that what? This man have kept his anger, right, perpetually, right? Then he pursued us with the sword, going back to, Cain slew Abel with a dagger. All right. Esau, his blessing was a sword, right? You go to the let's go back there real quick. Genesis 27 and 40. All right. Genesis 27 and 40 says, "And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother." See? Again, so by his sword, all right, he shall live. How you think Esau conquered everything he conquered? Especially when he was successfully in power. He used that sword, which is the gun on up to the missiles, to enforce his rulership and subdue the nations and to control the resources, man. Okay? So, again, Esau used the sword. He knows that that's his main source of strength is, his sword, all right? Same thing that you were blessed with, Esau, the Lord is going to destroy you with, though. Okay? So let's go from there. We'll go from there to Let's go from there. It was a precept I had in my mind. I want to grab. Let's get let's get that con. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 10. I'm gonna get ready to close in a second. It says, Revelation 13 and 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? Who leads into captivity? Well, the Edomites, along with the other nations, but who was the lead nation that put us in captivity? It was Edom. Right? Psalms 83. It mentions Edom first. That came against us. Remember, going back to Exodus, who came against us first? The Amalekites. Amalekites go back to who? The lineage of Esau, Edom. So they're Edomites too. All right. And they led us into captivity. The small hats, the one financed the slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade and came over here to the so-called New World and raped, robbed, and pillaged it, and what have you. All the heinous acts against us and acts of terrorism against us. Right? You look up their lineage, they're all small hats, man, that initiated it or initially came over here to conquer the so-called New World, which these things took place. Okay, and a part of his sword is used in chemical warfare too, by the way. All right, gotta add that in there. Part of Esau's sword is used in chemical warfare. All right. Hey, you remember what he did to the Gadites? Smallpox. What he gave to the North American Indians, our brothers up north. Yeah. So it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, which is slavery. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Well, whose blessing was the sword? Esau, Edom. How the Lord is going to destroy Esau, Edom? Well, even Yahweh Shah said, I come not to send peace, but a sword. Because he's going to come back, and Yahweh is going to send Yahweh Shah back to subdue Esau and the rest of these heathen, using what? The sword. Which, in Yahweh Shah's case, he's going to have full capability to use his spiritual powers to do what he wants to these heathen. All right, and then the Most High going to rain the same instruments he had Esau create. Excuse me. Which is the ultimate sword, which is the missiles, the thermonuclear missiles. They're going to destroy Esau society with those missiles, which is the biggest sword you have on earth today. All right, it says here the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints are the righteous seed, the Israelites. We're patiently waiting on this. Right? Because in the kingdom of heaven, right, the Israel the Israelites are going to be in the power. All right, and the enmity that was showed to the Israelites on this side, or in the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites are going to have the same opportunity, all right, to display the enmity between us and them. But this time around, the Heavenly Father is going to put his anger and fury into us, according to Ezekiel 25. Okay, and man, that's some fury right there. That's some anger and fury. So I myself, I look forward to it. And as well as you Akim out there and you Akwaf that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. And until next time, I want to say shalom.